Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the Python video tutorials. We'll be going over writing names to a file. We're going to be just writing to a text file. I think we'll be removing the new lines and just playing around with more file operations. So we'll just get into it here. So we have that's just my path, Windows path. So just don't worry about that. So we just have def main. We'll have a main function. So here we'll just say enter 3 names or 3 strings just for practice file operation stuff. So we'll just prompt the user to enter 3 strings. Then on the next line we'll say input. Actually, I'll point a variable to it, so we'll say str1 points to input. We'll prompt enter. So we don't really need this first one, but that's fine. We'll just say string number 1 or string 1. Put a new line there just in case. I think the input function doesn't always put a new line, so I'll just add one here. So here we'll have str2 points to input. We'll say string 2 new line, and then str3 points to input. Then we'll say string 3 and new line. Alright, so now let's create a file point. Oh, not a file pointer. Well, technically it is a file pointer. We're going to point to a file, but in Python, not C. So we'll say, we're just taking a variable really and pointing it to the file, basically the open function, which is going to open the file. And then we'll use the file methods. So here we'll just say, we're opening a file so we can, we're technically writing to a file so we can say out file points to, we'll call the open file function, and we'll add the path here. So I'm using Windows, so it's a Windows path. If you're using Mac, it'll be either, as I said before, either one of these or 2 of these. You can Google it if you're not sure. It should be 1 of these, or 2 of these, or 1 of these, or 2 of these. So I know for Windows it's 2 of these, forward slashes, I think. So here we'll have, so I'll just put my path in, computer name, and then the folder. So I'm just gonna open a file from the desktop, and I have a file from last time, so I'll just say file.txt. We're going to actually write to a file, so it doesn't really matter what you call it, because when we call the write method or the write function, it's going to, or the open function, we're going to call the mode, which is going to be write mode. If we call write mode, it's going to recreate that file. So if you already have a file and you want to write to it, this is going to erase everything. So make sure you use A if you're trying to write to the file that's already existing and you want to save the data. If you want to create a new file from scratch, you can just use W. This is going to overwrite whatever is inside that file. So that should be fine. Desktop, that should be fine. So we're using write mode. You can use single or double quotes. I prefer double quotes. What's wrong with that? So we have out file points to open. Yeah, whoops, I have a double and a single quote. Okay, so now let's just write stuff to the file. So we'll just say outFile dot write, and we'll write just write any string, whatever. I'll just put the channel name or whatever, my channel name. We'll just put outFile here. We'll write something else. So we can add a plus, actually we can add a plus new line here. Oh, you know what we're doing? We're not writing the string. Because what we could do is we could say we want to write code invest with a new line. In a string, of course. That would have been fine, right? But in this case, we're actually just going to write the variable. We're going to pass an str1. And if you want to append a new line to this, we just use, we have to use a plus. And then a new line in those, yeah, double quotes. So here we'll do the same thing for all three of them. str2 plus a new line, and then outFile dot write str3 plus a new line. Pretty simple, nothing too complicated. And then we'll just do we'll close. Remember to close the file at the end. Whoops, not my file. OutFile dot close. Close the file. Just say don't forget to close the file. If you don't close the file, the buffer can get ruined. You may lose data. So just remember to close the file. And we can just alert the user that the file operation was done. Don't really need to do that, we'll just add it in. So we'll just say file write complete. Practice some tabs, new lines, whatever. That should be all. Don't forget to call main at the end. We have to get out of the indentation. We'll call main like that. So all we're doing here really is just writing to a file. So we're going to basically just enter three names, and it's going to be written to a file. It's not going to show us that the file was actually written to, so I'll just save that and run it. Enter three strings. I'll just say code invest is cool. So it just tells us that the file write was complete. So if you look on your desktop, if you use desktop for the folder, you should see that file on your folder, as long as you did the path correctly. So we'll just move on to the next one, where I think we're going to take out these new lines. So it's called stripping in Python. So we're going to strip the, it's not like a joke, like you know, like that kind of joke. We're not going to go stripping, but we're going to actually add. We're gonna call this method called strip. I believe it's a method. It's called rstrip. I don't know why. Why is it called rstrip? I think it stands for raw strip. I forgot. I know. Not that I don't know. I mean, like, I forgot why it's called R. Can I remember why it's called R? Oh, I think it's called remove strip. That's what it stands for. Remove or strip. That's all it is, really. That's what it. I think that's what it is. Okay, so we'll just use it. Sometimes my memory isn't that good, so we'll just go with it. So we have. We can just delete this whole thing, and then we'll just say. We'll just call def main again. So we're working in the main function. Python, you don't need a main. Again, you can create one if you want. It's good to have one though. So we'll just open our file. So we'll say in file, because in stands for input, so we'll just say it's an input file. We'll point it to our path that we originally created the file with. So we'll say open whatever path you just used. Basically this exact same thing I just typed for me. And then I'll just call the exact same file, and then we're reading it again. We're in read mode. So we're gonna use R for the read mode, and then here we're gonna call the read line function. So we'll say line 1 points to read line. There's no camel casing in Python, I think. So this readline method in Java is actually camel cased, but in Python it's not. I think it's the exact same method too. Pretty similar. Honestly, Python feels pretty similar to Java, and it even feels similar to C. But the thing is, in C you don't use those. Sorry, in C you use those string modifiers to modify your strings and your types when you print stuff. But Python's quite similar to Java. So if you know Java, you probably knew that. If you don't know Java and you learn it after this, you'll notice that it's very similar. Even to C, it's quite similar. And of course Java's close to C. And it's honestly all close to JavaScript too. All those languages are similar. So here we'll have infile points. So we have infile already points to the our path. So then here we just have the so we'll say a line 1 string, if you want to call it str or whatever. We're just pointing it to read line, which is going to read the first line. So it's going to take the first line of that text, basically it's going to start at the first part of a text document or a text file, and then get the first line up until the new line, and then it stops. So we'll say in file, no, we need to call our file object. It's an object now, I believe, in Python, and then we'll have an in file, we'll call dot read line. We'll get into more objects discussion stuff once we start working with classes, so don't worry about that right now. So we have line 1 points to infile.readline. So it's going to get the first line, then we'll get the next line by calling infile.readline again. In this case, it's going to automatically get to the next line if you keep calling it. And then we'll do the same thing for line 3 points to infile.readline. Now we'll strip the new line from each string. So we'll just have no one actually starts stripping if that's no, I'm just joking. So here we're going to say line 1 points to, basically you're just going to call itself. You're going to say, okay, well, line 1 is going to point to itself. It's going to save something new. It's going to say, okay, line 1 points to line 1, whatever it is. And then the change, which is going to be .r strip. And then what we want to strip is the new line. So we'll do the same thing for all 3 of them. So we strip the new line from them all, and then we're not going to forget to close the file. And then here we'll just call print line 1, print line 2, and print line 3. And then at the end, we'll just call main after we're out of the indentation. Alright, so we should be able to print everything from that file. I'm just going to save and run it. So we got code invest is cool, everything perfect like that without the new line. Actually, wait a minute, I think there was something wrong with that. Our strip, did that not work? Because I believe it should have just printed out side by side. I think because we added a new line that time. Yeah, I think when I did the input we added that extra new line, that might have been why. Pretty sure that's what it is, so let's try to strip, can we strip 2 of them? No. Maybe it just takes a single quote. I think we did do an extra new line the first time. That might be it too. Okay, so I think that's what it was. Hopefully I don't have to do this whole thing again. So it's infile points to this path. Line 1 points to infile.readline, line 2 infile.readline, line 3 infile.readline. Line 1 points to itself .rstrip. Should be in read mode. Maybe can we call this twice? Will that work? Nope. Actually, I think print actually prints it out. I believe print actually prints the data out on a new line per print statement. But I believe we also added an extra new lines when we used the input function. That might be it, unless I'm typing this wrong. Line 3 points to line 3 dot rstrip. Spell that right, rstrip, new line. Closed it. Called read line at the top. I think that was, yeah, I think it was because we did do that. We added that extra new line. Is there any way else to do this? We're stripping it twice. Still didn't catch it. If there was to. Because I believe the output should have been just in one line. But I think it's because of the print, honestly I think it's because of the print statement, to be honest. So we should have probably just printed line 1. Concatenated with the rest of them. Why is this thing up there? Okay. This should just print code invest. Line 2, line 3. This will do the same thing, honestly. If there was an extra, so basically, if you guys don't understand, is that we should have basically we printed it out on the same line, but I think maybe we added an extra new line. Either way, it still worked. So if you guys get the idea, if you guys are interested in the exact code, when you like the exact way that I wanted to do this code was, when you do the input, don't add a new line at the end. So try that, and then just do 3 of these and see if it works by printing them out 3 on each print statement. Add a line 1, line 2, line 3 like we first did. But honestly, I think the print statement prints each string out line by line anyways, so perhaps it's just a typo in my book that I'm doing my notes from. My university textbook, basically. It might be an error from which I learned from in the past. But either way, you guys get the idea. We got the same goal accomplished by printing it out on the same line either way. You guys can try both ways. I'm just going to, and we just have one or two more to do here, so maybe we'll just take a break and we'll come back. So hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys liked the video, you can give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe to the channel if you'd like for more programming videos or investing stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.